Oh, what up, everybody? You already know Sly K Loco with another episode of CannaConvos with Jfro. Thank you so
Hi.
much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Good, good. I've been watching you on Instagram for a while. I've been following you, and you've been killing it out there. You don't just do growing; you do a lot of stuff, which is really cool. You know,
Yes.
is that your intention?
Yeah, so I grow just because I don't want to pay for weed. I mean, who wants to pay for weed? It's expensive. And
Facts. That's
it's
like
it's legal. It's legal in Arizona. You can have up to 12 plants per household here, so definitely taking advantage of it. But yeah, so I do tons. I have a very tight schedule, and that's my whole thing is I grow with very little time, very little resources, and I make it work.
nice. So, one of the first things that I always ask everybody is when they get into the questions is, how did you come up with your name?
Oh, so my best friend, he passed away a year ago, but
Oh,
his name was Jfo, and
okay.
he was Jfo and I was Jfro. And so
Okay.
when I made my growing account, Jfro grows. It just
Just
rhymed
stuck.
and
Wow.
that was it.
Nice. Well, rest in heaven to the homie.
hmm
My one of my good friends just passed away a couple months, last month. So I went and got his tattoo
Oh,
that he had
wow.
on his eye right here on my arm. Still got the second skin, so you can't really see it that well. But when it comes off, I'll show everybody.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, how do you mind how long ago he passed?
A year ago. So a year
A
ago,
year ago.
August 1st.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Is it getting easier?
I mean, yeah, I would say I've been doing a lot for him,
Okay.
which I'll bring up like some of the things I've done lately, especially have been in his honor. And so I don't want to say it gets easier, but yeah, I've definitely been taking it better lately.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Yes, I know losing for everybody out there. I'm sure everybody out there knows how it is to lose somebody, and it is like the hardest thing that we can go through. But keeping their memory alive and doing stuff like that is a way like kind of like, have you seen Coco, the movie
Mm-mm,
Coco?
no.
Oh man, it's a good one because they say that in that movie that you got to keep pictures around, and if you keep a picture around, then they're never forgotten. And if you
Okay.
don't, if you don't keep the pictures around or keep their memory alive, then they pass on the other side. So it's like it's a good movie. It'll definitely make you cry. So,
I'll have to watch it. I'll have to check it out.
all right. So my second question was, I seen that you just went to the Limp Biscuit concert. How did that go?
That was insane. So
Oh
much
man.
fun. I've been to over 500 concerts. I have like a pass. So they sell a pass you can buy in Arizona and you can go to every concert for the year and you just get to go on the lawn. So I buy that every year and Limp Bizkit was one of them that I got to go to last night. So
Beautiful.
yeah, I've been listening to Limp Bizkit since I was I think 13. I remember having them on my CD, like Walkman with the headphones, just like walking around the backyard listening to the same songs over and over and over again. So yeah, that was my first time seeing them, and I'm 33 now, so 20 years, and yeah, it
20
was
years.
they sound
Good,
exactly the
man.
same. Yeah, couldn't believe it, and it was a riot. Yeah, the mosh pits were crazy. It was so much fun. Yeah,
Um, for those out there who don't know what a mosh pit is, I don't know, you must be under a rock if you don't know what a mosh pit is, but it's I would say it is a little organized dancing.
it is. Yes. I've done public speaking on metal and I talk about mosh pits and how there's mosh pit etiquette that people don't
Yes.
understand and they don't know. And when you look at it from afar, you think that people are in there punching that I mean, and that's just so the opposite of what's
Yes.
going on. For the most part, people are just skipping around and
Yeah. I
they
have seen
run into
some
each
people
other.
go in. Some
That
people do go in and swing crazy, but those people
that
need to be kicked out.
that usually happens. Yeah, they
Yeah.
usually get booted pretty quickly.
Yeah, because you can't be going in there swinging on people, letting them
No.
like you're supposed to be letting your aggression out, but not like fucking socking people and shit. You're supposed
Right.
to, I mean, there's the occasional you're gonna get elbowed or something like that, which
Yeah.
is, that's just part of the being in there. Now, myself, I've only moshed one time, and I got angry, and I was about to throw some punches, so I was like, okay, I'm
Okay.
not the
Get
person.
out.
This isn't my. I was like, this isn't my wheelhouse, so I got out of
Right.
it, but I do respect anybody in there who can do it like that. That's got to be pretty fun. The funny thing about the Limp Bizkit is like the Fred Durst. Like if he goes anywhere without his hat, nobody recognizes him.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even know what he looked like, honestly. Yeah,
What?
I know, all my friends knew exactly what I was surprised that I've known them for so long, I had no idea.
Really? Yeah. Did
Yeah.
he have his hat on?
Yeah, he did have a hat on. Yeah.
Mm, okay, okay. Yeah, the hat is the only way that I would be able to recognize him. I wouldn't even know after that.
His
Um,
voice.
yeah, his voice, right? That too. He'd be like, "Yeah, I know that voice." So my third question was gonna be your comedies, your stand-up comedy. Like, I have to give a mad shout out to you on that one because that takes a lot of guts to go up there and do that stuff, man. It really
Yeah,
does.
it does for sure. And I don't know, do you know what Kill Tony is?
I don't. I saw your post on that, but I was like, I
Okay.
know I've heard of it. My friend watches a lot of stand up, so he told me a little bit about that. And I think it's when you get up on stage and just freestyle or no, or do you
Yeah,
have
pretty much. It's a very popular show, extremely popular. I know over 1 million people watch it, and I did it for my friend who passed away. I kind of just have been, especially since it was just 1 year. I'm just trying to do more and just go for stuff and not just say F it. I'm just gonna do whatever I want and just take control of life because who knows what's gonna happen, right?
I mean,
And
you're
I'm
right.
very lucky. I'm a very lucky person. I've been banned from radio stations because I've won so many things that they're like, "You can't win anymore." So when I went, I put my name in the hat for the comedy thing, and I got picked number 2. And it's so yeah, you go up and you have 1 minute to tell jokes, and I went up and I was so I blanked. I've never blanked on a stage before. I've done public speaking. I used to do memorization competitions. So it's not the same as comedy, which I have done comedy a handful of times, but only in front of my friends and family.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, I've done it in public, but it's mostly my people that were
But this
there.
was like the real deal.
This
Like,
was in a these are famous people, like, these are famous comedians, and it's a roast show, and it's very vulgar, and it's I have dark humor,
yeah.
and you have to have dark humor, and they I did not tell any jokes, I completely blanked. I said little bits and pieces of my set, but I never actually told a punchline or a joke. They just ripped me to shreds. It was an honor, truly. I went knowing that I might just screw it all up, but it would be cool to get roasted by
But
them.
yeah,
And
now you can
that's what happened.
yeah, now you could talk about that experience and you could say you got roasted by these famous
Yeah.
comedians, right?
Right, and I can only do better. I did have
Yes.
a few drinks, and I've never been on stage drinking before, and I drank kind of thinking, there's over 200 people, and they only pull 5 or 6 people. So I'm thinking, I'm probably not gonna get picked, and I'm like, say, "Oh, I'm drinking with the boys, just having a good time," and they come in and they say my name, and I just went up, took the mic, blanked, and then they ask you a bunch of questions, and I was coming up with just boring answers. They're like, "All right,
All
get
right.
out of here. Come back next
Yeah.
time. Try again."
Well, at least you got up and did it because, like, I've seen some comedians say how, like, it is insane. You have to be insane, mentally insane, to want to get up on stage and make other people laugh. Like, and
Yeah.
these people they don't know you. You know, nobody's there to support you and shit. So like, you wouldn't get a pity laugh. Like, if you're not
No,
funny, you're not. You're
yeah,
fucking.
I got nothing. Oh, yeah, I think I got
Oh,
2 maybe 2 people laughed at I think they were kinda laughing, like, with me, like, not at my jokes, like, they're trying to make me feel a little bit better. But, yeah, I mean, if you end up watching me on that show, be ready to hear, because 'cause I'm telling you right now, they go all out. They don't hold back. It's vulgar, it's dark, and like I said, I'm for it. The it was an honor to be roasted. It was just hard to do such a bad performance because I'm not used to performing poorly. But
yeah,
everybody, it happens, and I
yeah,
can only do better. That's how I'm
yeah.
seeing it. I'm
It's
gonna
only
try
up from
again.
here,
So,
right?
mhm.
Only up from here. So the worst thing I think about in a comedy when you're in a comedy place is where like you got those people who just aren't there to laugh. Like
Right.
they're there just to basically like, okay, make me laugh, right? No, you got to be in the mood to want to be able to laugh at stupid fucking things and just
Yeah.
have a good time, man. Like,
Yep.
but you get the people out there that are just mad dogging and got that I call it RAF, resting asshole face, or RBF,
Mhm.
and it's just like it could kill the moment, but I shit, you're brave as fuck to be even get up there and to do it,
Yeah,
man.
I'll like I said, I'll do anything. I do what I say I'm gonna do. I said I was gonna do it, and I did it.
Nice,
It
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I put on here was you. I have to be so brave to do that. So I was looking down in your post, and I just saw that you had a very nice looking plant in January. It was kind of a January post,
Yes.
and you don't put any of the names of the plants that you were growing on there.
I
So
was I was hoping you were gonna ask about that.
okay,
So yeah, I'm so laid back and just lax with my growing. I think that most growers, when they talk to me, they're, I think everyone's ready to just dive in and we're gonna nerd out right now and talk about all. And I am just there. It's the last person. I'm like, they're like, what plants are you growing? I don't know. I don't know what they're called because I literally just don't care because to me it's like it's weed. Like I just want the weed. I want to
yes,
smoke it, and it doesn't matter if it's 15% THC or if it's 25. Like it's my weed. I grew it. It's gonna get me high. Maybe I might have to smoke another bowl, but it's mine. I have a pound of it. You know what I mean. So I just stopped caring about like the little and I know that there's reasons why people care. They use it for ailments, they use it for health and medical reasons. I did work at a dispensary for a very long time. So and it was when it was medical. So I completely understand all of that end of it as well. I just don't use it for that. I use it
yeah.
for recreational purposes. So for me that stuff just doesn't matter, so I don't really pay attention to it.
Okay, so you don't know what that was on
I
January?
don't know. No, I could ask. So the last plants that I got, I think those were the best plants I've grown, and they were given to me when they were, I think, a few weeks old.
Okay, so they were
My
clones.
cousin, my cousin was moving, and so he couldn't take them, and so he just asked us to grow them. So I took them in, and I'm moving, so I wasn't planning on growing anything else, which is why I'm not right now. So I'm
Okay,
in the middle of moving, and so I wasn't planning on it, but I took them in, and I'm so glad. Those were probably the best plants I've ever grown.
nice, good
Yeah,
job, man.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun when you don't know what this plant is gonna do, but you kill it, right?
Yeah.
You come through
Yeah.
and you're like, shit, man, I'm good. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm fucking that good. I love that. I had that same thing when I first started growing. I did not know the names, and when the names started coming out, they were just so crazy ass names, Cam Dog, all these things,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to do that either because I was the same way. I thought, yeah, it's all chronic, it's all good smoke, just blaze it. Don't worry about the fucking name, right? But then the drug dealer in me was like, oh, you gotta have the name for them. You gotta be like, yo, this that blueberry Kush, man. It's gonna blow
Right.
your ass away, man. And then they'd be like, okay, well, what's this one? This is blueberry Kush crossed with OG Cam, man. We call this blueberry Cam, baby. And then they got the names that like go together but aren't like of the cross, like
Right.
some like
Yeah. That's why I stopped kind of caring was just because I'm like, what am I even trusting? How do I know that I'm even getting somebody could just be making up this name and like I said, I worked at a dispensary for so long. I saw so many people be so picky that I think that turned me off from
okay,
caring. I
yeah,
was like, I actually talk about that in one of my stand up that I did well on that people actually laughed at where I told the jokes. I talk about that. I'd say how people would ask for, they like, "Oh, what's the percent of THC? What's this?" And they say, "Yeah, do you have like the Carfax of the driver that drove the weed over here?" Like they would ask for like the craziest. I'm just kidding. They wouldn't
oh, okay, I
but
was
that's like they would
yeah,
ask
say
for
what,
stuff like the most insane, like
yeah,
what day was
yeah,
the seed
is this
germinated,
ROS
like
watered? Is
right,
this, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
things that truly didn't matter, and
yeah,
those were the people that I think didn't even have ailments that were more like just like recreationally wanting to know. And it's fine. I get it. Understand having that curiosity, but again, I think that just turned me off from caring at all. Because
nice.
I didn't really need to. People say I use it for headaches, I use it for this, but again, for me, it's just for fun.
Yeah, 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 I totally understand. And with the name thing, like there was this Bubba Kush, right? And I knew what Bubba Kush tasted like, and I loved the Bubba Kush. And then like ran out of this grower that was doing the Bubba Kush, and I had to go to the dispensary to go get it. So then I would tell them, yo, I want the Bubba Kush, right? And they'd be, yeah, yeah, this is the Bubba Kush right here. Here you go, boom. And I smoke it, and I'm like, nope. instantly I could taste this is not fucking Bubba Kush. It might
Right.
be some other Bubba Kush, but it's not the Bubba Kush that I
Yep.
was looking for. And so, and then one day, like I smoked this weed and it tasted like that Bubba Kush, but it was called something different. And so I was like it's either a cross or these motherfuckers don't know what
Mhm.
they're talking about because I'm a weed snob. Now
Okay.
you probably don't take it as as serious as I do, but I'm a fucking weed snob, dude. Like it's got to be tasting right, it's got to be the right shit, or I don't want it. And it's pretty
I
like,
feel like
man,
a lot of people are like that though. It's normal.
yeah, yeah, and it's only because we're able to nowadays. There's just
Yeah.
so much fucking product out there that we're like, you can be like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I could totally see how some people just start switching up fucking names and shit. I can
Mhm.
barely keep up with them nowadays. But one thing I did want to tell you is it looked fucking dank. You killed
I
it.
have a little nug right here. This was
All right. Ooh, look at that.
Oh yeah, I
Ciao.
don't even trim my bud anymore. I'm telling you, I'm like the because I don't have time. I do what I can. And look, I mean,
That's
I
untrimmed.
I like pulled a couple leaves off, but yeah, this was like
Oh,
one of the
that's
top parts,
beautiful. Good
yeah.
job.
I it's crazy, and that's why I try to explain to my friends, you don't have to the more time and knowledge and education you have, of course, the better results you're gonna get, but look at what's happening to me with what I'm my brother tells me, "Okay, we use general hydroponics nutrients," right? He
Okay.
knows exactly, which one has calcium, magnesium. He knows every detail. He tells I know pink, purple, green. Every 2 days I do green. Every other day I
Okay,
do
so you're
purple. Yeah,
using the three-part one, right? Because there's two of
yeah.
the general hydroponics. There's an older one that's like Flora Nova, and it's a little it's green
Okay.
and a green and purple one. But you're using the three-part one, right? The
Mhm.
newer one, and
Yes.
so it's not as sludgy and as dark, right? It's kind of like
Nope.
light. Okay,
And
yes,
then
I
I
know what
just use my pH up, never pH down, and that's pretty much it. I mean, and I also took chemistry recently, but like 2 years ago, so that helped with like the measurements. I got down how to
you.
act.
Okay,
So I mean, that little bit of knowledge helped, but it's anyone can do it, and that's why I try to. I mean, yeah, you need a dark space, but truly, if you have a sheet, a black sheet, you can make it work, and a light. I mean, you can use minimal and just get your knowledge in and learn, get a little bit of experience. Then if you have the space, get a little tent, a tiny little
well,
tent. They're not it's not expensive. It's like $100 for a little baby tent.
yeah, it's kind of crazy the way that it's like it's straight up blowing up. This is it's a
Mhm.
screen rush right now because anybody could do this. I think I saw Ruse Goofy Growing. He was on somebody's podcast. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, guys. But and they were talking about how growing this plant, you could either make it as difficult as you want or you could make it as easy as you want, man. Like
So true.
there's just so many variables in this to where you could just with the synthetic nutrients nowadays, you could just mix some nutrients, throw it in, little pH, there you go, and get very good plants still. Or you do like I'm doing and go organic and start to make brews and then got to take your VPD, all these. You
Mhm.
could just go down the line, PPRs, all the PPMs, PPRs, blah, 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 blah. Like, there's just so much things that you could do. But I think the easier, the, the more, I don't want to say basic, what's the word? The more just chill grow, it actually does produce very good flowers. So anybody out there, if you guys want to try it out, I say like, just grab a tent, not even a tent, like Jfro said right here. Just grab a sheet and
Mhm.
a little corner and start try it out, man. Try it out, and you'll probably be surprised and catch the bug like we all did. Uh,
Yep.
and then on that note, I wanted to ask you, how long have you been growing?
About 2 years.
Okay, so you got 2 years, and your brother, how long has he been growing?
About 3. So, yeah, pretty
3.
much I saw him be super successful. He has a green thumb. I mean, he puts the time and effort in. I will say for me, there's a lot of slacking and he has managed my plants for me. It's like if I go on trips, that's why I'm able to go on trips a lot. Because
Okay,
I mean, that is something you do have to consider when you're growing, especially if you're growing 8 plants. I mean, you have to really trust somebody. There are little things that you'll pick up on that yeah, I mean, you can't just leave your plants for a week. They're dead. I mean, you
yeah.
can't. Yeah, so
Well, you
I have.
can with the blue mat system. Have you ever heard of the blue mat system?
Is that with like the water where it waters itself?
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. It's like no plug-in or anything. It's an automatic
Okay.
watering system. So all you do is you fill up your reservoir, and you let it go, and it does takes care of itself. I'm
Hmm.
using it right now. So if you want, go
Okay.
ahead and check out my page, and you can probably see me using the Blue Mat system. I actually got Mr. Grow it turned me onto them, and they
Okay.
are carrots. They're little carrots that are actually ancient technology. I think the Egyptians came up with it, but it's like a clay, and so the clay carrot like it swells and it shrinks when it gets dry. So then
Okay.
it when it dries, it lets the water go through, boop boop boop, very dripping, right? And then when it's at the right when it has enough water, it stops watering. It's stupid cool. You should check it
That
out.
is cool. Yeah, I might have to look into that because I'm moving now. I'm not going to be with my brother anymore to help me.
Oh,
So yeah, so I'm gonna have to take my trips and
you're gonna have to. So
yep.
the blue mat system is what you need, okay? Because you can
Okay.
just set it and forget it, and at least if you got a big enough reservoir, then you could go for 5 days or a week or whatever. But
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
if
Good
you
to know.
that would probably be a 10 gallon, maybe I'd say a 10 gallon pot or bucket or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
That would probably last a week for me. I use a 5 gallon bucket and I got 3 plants in there, and I forgot to tell my kids to fill up the reservoir. Now if you don't fill up your reservoir and it dries out, then you have to reset the whole system again. So
Okay.
you want to be on
Yep.
top of that. There is a learning curve when using the blue mat system, but once you
Okay.
get it, you got it. Once you get
That's
it,
what I
it
say about growing. That's exactly what I say. I was like, yeah, I mean, you have to learn how, but once you know how to do it, it's like anything else. You just do it. It's not
yep,
hard.
stupid easy, man. So I
Mhm.
wanted to talk about you being in Arizona, and you said that you guys can have 12 plants.
Yeah, we can have so it's 6 per person in the house up to 12. So even if you have
Okay,
5 people, you can still only have
just
12
so
plants.
yeah, because 12 plants produces a lot.
I had 8, the most I've done was 8, and it was very stressful because of the heat. I have a really old house and my AC unit is from the 70s, so my
Oh,
electric bill is insanely high just because of that, and then so my grow room was so hot because of all the plants. I learned a lot. That was the grow I learned the most from, and I learned
nice.
I this house cannot we can't have 8 plants in here. It's just too much, they're too hot. But yeah, that's a big factor here, I would say, is the heat. It definitely takes a toll on the plants if you can't keep your grow room cool enough.
And so you don't need a medical card to be able to grow. Like they just let you
Nope.
grow.
Yeah, it's
God, man. See, I'm
recreational.
in Washington, right? I'm in Washington, and we've been recreational before, like a lot of people, right? A lot of states and shit. And over here, you have to have your medical card if you want to grow in your
That's
house.
crazy.
You can
Huh.
go to the fucking dispensary and get as much weed as you want, but you
Hmm.
have to have a card to have the 15 fucking plants, which is
Weird. Huh, well,
yeah. So I have to
I'm
go
just
get my
spoiled, I guess. Yeah,
yeah.
as soon I swear, like, it was, like, the day it became rec, my brother bought a tent. He was like, yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy. He's like, "Yeah," and that's why, like I said, I was like, "Why would I ever pay for weed again? It's 50 bucks an eighth." Like, you can get so much from one plant. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, it's not even worth it to go to a dispensary anymore.
Yeah.
Um, especially if you got your own bud. So what's your favorite way of ingesting weed?
I just smoke flower.
Just smoke? Okay, so do you
Yeah.
know edibles, dabs, or anything like that?
Edibles don't work for me. They never have. Yeah, I had one time where I think it had to have worked because I had, like, an out of body experience just going to sleep, and I had taken some edibles that I found. I clean Airbnbs, so
You
some
found and ate some
yeah,
edibles.
yeah, so I clean I clean Airbnbs, and it was late at night. I had gotten out of school. I went to go clean. I found a bunch of edibles, and I just ate them because I was hungry. I was and I'd eaten thousands of milligrams before. I worked at a dispensary, and my inventory manager would he would try to he like, "I'm gonna give you as many as I can, as samples to see if they," and nothing worked. I tried so much, but I had ate a couple of these gummies, and yeah, then I was in bed and I like woke up for a second. I was like, "What's going on?" And I just felt so and I thought I was like, "It must be the edibles. They're working." And so I thought I like died in my bed. I mean, it had to be the edibles.
Had to
That
be.
was I yeah, so I mean, they worked for me one time, but yeah, I haven't really tried again. So yeah, I'm
So
just kind of like, eh.
I got a story for you. So there's this one time this guy he gets a hold of me and he's like, "Yeah, no edibles don't touch me." And I was like, I just learned how to infuse the way that I infuse, right? And make it edibles. And I was like, I'm pretty sure my edibles will get you. And he's like, nah. I take thousands, just like you. I take thousands. Nobody ever touches me. Da 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 da. I said, okay, all right, all right. So I went home and I was like, wait a minute, is that a challenge? He's like, yeah, that's a challenge. And so, oh, okay, sir. So I come home and I take 32 grams of flour and I
Wow.
infuse it into, I think it was like a cup, maybe 2 cups of butter, right? Now, the higher the fat content, the more it will fuse to the THC, right? So I make this butter, and I'm like, yo, this is fucking gangster shit right here, right? So I make some cookies and I give them to him, and holy shit, I ate one because I was like, now I got to try my own product, right?
Mhm.
Nope, I had a panic attack. I thought the cops would come in. I
Oh.
was about to cut down my plants outside. I was fucking, I was
Ah!
I was so tripping. I was in the car with my wife and she's driving, and I'm like, it's a fucking roller coaster. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so high. Like I was shaking, buzzing. I was so blazed. And I told him, I said, hey man, you better watch the fuck out. This is like straight up, this shit is no fucking joke. And he's like, nah, I got this. I got this. So he eats one. Next day he calls me up. He's like, bro, that shit had my dick in the dirt, man. He's like, I will never try one of your edibles again. And I was like, hey, you fucking wanted this, right? And so I went to my friend's mom and I gave her one, and she barely even touched her. She said it was the best edible she's ever had because she
Oh,
felt it.
wow, okay,
Yeah, so she
okay.
was in the same category to where she just didn't feel edibles. Normal edibles don't affect some people. Some people need 32 grams for one fucking
Yeah.
stick of butter. You know what I mean? And I just like, I've never been able to understand that because that's so weird that it
I
was.
know, I know. I worked at a dispensary and I had other people say, and they said it was a gallbladder thing, but that's not
Oh,
my stepdad doesn't have a gallbladder, but edibles work for him. I do not have a gallbladder, but I would, they didn't work for me because people would say that's why, and I'm like, that's not why. There's no way.
it's
And but then I heard somebody said that there's an enzyme that you can lack in your body, and that the THC won't it's some
won't bind
I
to
don't
it.
know the exact terminology for it, but yeah, something about lacking an enzyme. So I don't know if that's true. I haven't never like actually researched it, but I've heard so many different things, and I've just heard so many stories similar to mine, and that yeah, no store bought edibles have ever worked for. But that I mean, so what if that one edible I ate was just a one off where it was a really really high
Or
potency
it was
one,
some
or
fentanyl or some shit.
right? I mean, I did find it in a Airbnb, but it was, it was in a box. I never questioned it until you brought it up, actually. Like, and now that I'm looking back on it, I'm like, that's actually a really good point. I'm like, oh, edibles, cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
no questions asked. So yeah, maybe next time I'll consider that.
Yeah, you probably should. It's just for your your
Yeah.
safety. Um, I will actually also have to give a shout out to Emily Anything Grows. If you've seen her on Instagram, I'm pretty sure, does she follow you or do you follow
I
her?
don't know if I will
Okay.
follow her if I don't.
Okay, yeah, you should give her a follow. She's a big supporter of women growers.
Okay, cool.
She sent over some edibles, and her edibles had labels on it. She was like, "Okay, this is a 500
Oh,
milligram. This is a easy. This is a middle, and this is a fuck you up, right?" And
nice.
I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood to get fucked up, and I was
Yeah.
straight up buzzing. I was playing the Spider-Man game, and I was in Spider-Man, fucking like shaking and shit, and fighting these guys. It was crazy. And
That's smart. That's really cool, like, to
really
label
smart.
them. Yeah.
I feel like people need that more often too. Is something to be able to tell you, hey man, you got the medium, lows, and highs here. So
Mhm.
be careful what you want. So my next question was going to be about trellising. I saw in your tent that you do trellis, right?
Yeah, now,
Okay.
I guess.
Now you do. Okay. Were you dealing with floppage? Is that why you started?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so that's part of the reason I started my Grow account was because I only have my brother and he works 60 hours a week. So
Ooh.
even if he wanted to help me, he doesn't have time. So I reach out, I post a picture. help, I don't know what to do. And so many people will just give such good advice. It's almost you have to pick because there's so much good advice. It's like I don't know which one to do. All
Yeah.
these sound great. But yeah, those plants that I had were so heavy that they were just completely they would not so I just got some of that green, I just call it green string, and but it's not string, and yeah, I just tied it up to the metal poles in the tent. It worked great.
All
But
right.
yeah, and then, yeah, I think I got, I don't even weigh what I get anymore because, like I said, I don't trim it because I don't it's inaccurate kind of if you don't trim it, but I feel like I got a pound from those 3 plants.
3 plants. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
And I
about
think
right.
the most I had weighed out, I had 4 Pineapple Express plants that were similar, that were very large nugs, but they weren't falling over, but I got a pound from those 4, and I think I got a pound from these 3, roughly.
Nice. Sick. Have you ever heard of the umbrella trellis?
No.
Okay, so
What is
this one is
that?
pretty cool. I wanted to teach you, turn you on. All the viewers out there, you guys have heard me talk about the umbrella trellis. Now, the inventor is Josh on Instagram. His name is Umbrella Trellis on there. It is
Okay.
a trellis that is in the pot with the plant, so you can
Okay.
move around. So you can get it, you can pick it up, and you can move it over here, and it like it'll stay with the plant.
Whoa,
Yes,
okay.
very cool invention.
Yeah, that would've
This
been
is
nice. That would
yeah, yes, yes, and this is I think the reason why is because so many people are dealing with trellises and know that when you have a trellis in there, there's no room for you. There's no room for you. It's stupid hard to get the plants out. Is which I'm pretty sure it's hard to get the plants out of the umbrella trellis too. But it's just being able to take the plant out
So,
and do
yeah,
whatever you have to do.
my my biggest problem with it is when the plants are done and
Oh,
having to get it all off. That
yeah, out from there.
that's yeah, it's hardcore. It takes a long time, I feel like.
It's definitely a workout too because you're under the
Yeah.
light. If you have the light on inside of a tank, it's pretty fucking hot when you don't have all the fans and shit going.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know if you saw too on this last round of plants, I was trying to strength train them and I snapped one
oh,
at the main, ju boom, just cracked all the way down. I texted my brother. I was like, "What do I don't know what to do." And I was leaving for Philadelphia that night, and I was like, "My plant's ruined," and he was like, "Just tape it," and I just taped it
yeah,
up. But so
yeah.
then my trellis was kinda just there for no reason, but it was I just left it because it was already in. But yeah, that was one of the scariest things that I've ever
Oh
experienced growing.
shit, man.
Have you ever snapped one before?
Yes, I have
Okay.
snapped many plants before.
Have you?
Many,
That's
many.
so
Yes.
when people were saying it is normal.
Yes,
I didn't
totally
know that.
normal. Absolutely normal. I know the new growers out there, you guys will have to deal with this at some time too. When you snap it, you just do what your brother said. You just
Okay.
tape it together and it will grow. Now you could either tape it together or you could, put there's other things that I wanted to bring up was a yo-yo hanger. Have you ever heard of a yo-yo hanger?
Mm-mm.
It's just it goes on the very top of your tent, like the bars that are up on the top,
Yeah.
and you just tie it on there, and then it has a string like a fishing string that you
Okay.
just pull down and you hook onto your buds, and it holds them all up. So that's
Oh,
another
okay.
thing that you could do. The yo-yo hangers are pretty cool. They so that's what I would do. I'd break if my plant broke, I would just take my yo-yo hanger and go hang it on there and just hold it up. And
I
while it's
see.
held up, that plant will start to heal itself, which is fucking cool. It
Isn't
will
it?
heal itself, yes. And this one time when I broke it, it split in two, like you said, and it just grew itself again to where like this hole was just open. So the stem was like this, and there was just a
Okay.
hole in the middle. And
Huh,
like I
that's
could look
cool.
through it and shit. And it was yeah,
Wow.
and it grew to be a bad fucking plant too. It was so good. Oh man.
Plants are crazy. Like,
They are
it's
amazing.
fascinating. Yeah, it really
Fascinating.
is. It's
It's so
unbelievable.
fascinating how resilient this plant is
Mhm.
that a
That's
lot of people
nuts.
will tell you. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, they're very finicky and all that." No, these plants shouldn't be finicky. They are a weed. So as long as you water them and give them sun, they will fucking flourish, man.
Right.
Grow. Oh
I
yes.
Yeah, I've barely had any issues. I feel like I've been so lucky. Like that was the first plant. I didn't even know that was normal, for them to snap like that. I've just been so lucky. And like I said, I think it might be because I don't put so much extra effort that I don't have any issues really. Like I've never had pests. I don't know if that's, I would just assume it's because
Oh,
I grow
that's what I was
inside.
just about to ask you right now about the pest.
Yeah,
You've
no
never had
pests.
pests?
Is
You've
it
never
is
had
that
fungus gnats? Nothing?
is that not normal? Like I
No,
said,
that's
yeah,
not normal.
we've never had a problem over here. Like
Ah,
everything's always great. I always tell my brother because he'll say it too. Like, I'm like, the trick for me is just neglect, I guess. Like you just neglect the plants and give them the bare minimum. But I know that's not it, but I do take care of them. I do, but I mean, like I said, it truly anyone can do it. It's not,
yes,
you don't have to be a rocket scientist to grow weed. It's
yes.
easy.
The first pest that I ever dealt with was fungus gnats. And
Okay.
fungus gnats are a bitch to get rid of. They live in the soil because they feed off of the mycelium network that grows in soil. Because
Okay.
when you're growing in soil, all these microbes and everything that lives outside, they somehow find their way into the soil. And when they're in the soil, if you watch any like time lapse of what happens inside soil, it is so fucking fascinating. All these little microbes and bugs and shit are
Whoa.
just going and going. Well, when that happens, the mycelium network starts to grow, and that's actually what they feed off of because they're fungus, and the mycelium network is a fungus, right? Um, and the mycelium network helps with all this other shit. The microbes grow on them. Microbes uh, make carbohydrates, or I mean, yeah, carbohydrates that the plant soaks up, and so that's why soil is fascinating. Um,
Mm.
Forgot where I was going with this. Um, yeah, it's just fucking cool. Oh, the fungus gnats. Ah. So they were the first ones, right? And then all of a sudden, one day I look in and I was flowering some very good nugs, right? Looking, and all of a sudden I see this little spider web around it. And
Oh,
I'm like, what the
no.
fuck? That looks weird. And I go
Yeah.
look, and the bud is infested with spider mites. Yes, and they
Oh,
wrap
no.
around the buds, and so like your bud will be have like little leaves sticking out, right? They're all wrapped in like this. You're like, what the fuck is that? What's going on?
Oh.
And you look real close, and there's little brown fucking little bastards walking around. Oh,
Oh,
I had that. I've
they
never
all
had
need to
any
die.
aphids. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's good.
count your blessings because you
Yeah, I don't know
are
if maybe it's an Arizona thing. I mean, I don't know
could
if we
be.
even have those bugs. Yeah,
Oh no, you
so
do.
okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like, I thought it was just because we grew inside and not outside. No, okay. Okay. Well,
Well,
we're just
now
lucky maybe.
on your point of neglecting, right? Now you say neglecting. I feel that you're actually um keeping them away because some of the most things that will happen is you yourself tracking them in because you're always
Oh,
in your
right.
tent, right? And you don't
Mhm.
clean off your shoes before you go in, or say you went outside and then you went in your tent. There you go. Like there's so many different ways. Your cats can bring them in if you have cats in there.
Okay. Yeah, my
Um,
brother has drilled into my head, like he showers before he goes in the grow. I mean, he doesn't really grow much now because he's so busy, but like, so he drilled it into my head, like wash your hands, change your clothes, like, so we keep it pretty clean in there. So maybe that has been something that
Yes,
helped as
that is
well.
it. That right there is that's what you're doing right. Is you're
Okay.
cleaning. Yeah, you're keeping that cleanliness because cleanliness is next to godliness when you're growing, and it is like dead serious one of the most important things to do. Now, as for me, I'm a fucking slacker. I suck at keeping
Okay.
shit clean. Like that's
It
why I'm
happens.
getting all
It
this shit.
happens.
Yes, it happens. So you're gonna have to deal with that one. But I'm just blown away that you don't have to deal with any fucking pest.
I told you I'm a lucky person. I'm
Yeah,
very
you're
lucky. Yeah,
fucking
all
lucky
around.
shit. Have you bought any lottery tickets or anything?
I've done very well at the casino. We'll
Wow,
just say
shit.
that, yeah. I've
Yeah.
I've gone to the casino with my friends, and they've, like, lost money, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, play this machine for me because 'cause you're lucky," and he comes back, and I have, like, hundreds of dollars just sitting in the machine, like, I'm like, "Here you go. Like, there's your money." But I
Yeah.
trust me, I've lost at the casino before too. You can't push it with your luck,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
only so
Right.
much. But yeah, I am very lucky. And I always say you can't mix up luck with talent. Like those
Mhm,
are two different things. Like I
mhm.
was lucky to get on Kill Tony, but I didn't have the talent to do well. You know what I mean? Like, so, but in all things, not just that, like everything, their luck and talent are different. Same with
Yeah.
growing. Same with growing right there. I'm lucky because I've not had pests. I've had pretty much no real issues. but the talent, imagine how great my flower could be if I really put in the time and energy
Well,
and effort.
or you could overcomplicate it too. So you
Yeah,
could just be
very
doing the right
true.
thing. Because I mean
Yeah,
that's very true to overcomplicate things and just go in there and be like, so many products, so many things. Like it's a lot to keep on fucking track. So
right.
having that many balls up in the air could be a bad thing. But whatever you're doing is working. So I say
True.
stick with it. You're killing it. What lights do you have in your tents?
Mars Hydro, I don't know. I think they start with an FS, I think, but I'm not sure. I have little ones and then I have big ones. So I have two five
I
by
saw
five tents.
you have the 1000s, right? FS 1000. No, no, no,
That
no, no.
sounds
Mars
right.
Hydro. You have one 1000 I saw on the side, and then you had a big, like,
Yeah.
one.
So I've got, I think, three of the bigger ones and then two, because I started off with the two small ones, but then I just got bigger, bigger, bigger. I don't know exactly what they are. People always ask too, and I just say Mars Hydro. I don't know. FS something.
Whatever they work, and that's all that matters.
Whatever my brother got is what I got.
Nice. So, what's your? Well, I mean, I don't know if you would even know this question, but what's your favorite strain to grow so far?
Pineapple
Like,
Express.
okay, so I saw
Yeah,
that you were growing the Pineapple Express. How did those come out?
I mean, that was, I think that was my first actual grow, my
Okay,
first time growing ever, and so that was one of the best, probably because at your first time you might put, I'm probably put a little bit more, time, and I did trim and all that. I don't really trim too much anymore. I do now, or defoliate, is that what it's called?
defoliate. Okay,
Yes,
okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, you
So
trim. I know you're trimming some buds, but like
yeah. So I don't really,
defoliate.
yes,
Okay,
I've had grows where I didn't really defoliate whatsoever. Like
okay.
I just let them ride. But yeah,
Oh,
with the Pineapple Express,
bushy.
I kept up with it, and I mean, it was just, the smell truly smelled like pineapple.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
actually, yeah, I mean, it was, and that was some of the best flower I've probably ever had. And I grew it myself. It's always that feeling of like, I did this, like this is mine, which is
Yep.
just so rewarding.
It's so fulfilling because you just
Mhm.
like, and you're so just blown away on your talent, even though your luck too. That you just fucking come out with this because Pineapple Express was one of the first ones that I grew too, and it was just, oh man, the pineapple, like it smelled like fucking pineapple, yo.
Yeah,
That shit was dang. I should probably take another run at that nowadays, but
it's so good.
I'd probably overcomplicate it. Anyways, what I was gonna tell you is shit, I forgot it again. What tents are you growing in?
Um, that's a good, I don't know. I have no clue. I could go look. They're just they're 5 by 5s.
Are
That's all I
are
know.
they oh, so you have two 5x5s?
Mhm.
All right, okay, so you can do pretty good grow. I have two
So
5x5s too.
I've maxed them out at 8 plants.
Okay,
And that's,
yeah,
like I
four in
said,
each.
it was too
Oh,
much.
defoliate. That's what I was going to tell you.
Mm.
So I want to give you a little tip. When you defoliate, um, it's a good idea to take all of, like, let's say about maybe the sixth node up, maybe fourth. Well, when they get bigger and flower, about sixth node, and just take everything off from the bottom. Everything under one
Oh,
certain
okay.
spot, just take all that off. It's called lollipopping, but you take all that shit off so that all the energy could go up to your top nugs because you
So
want your
I
top
did
ones.
that this last time, and I think that's why they started falling over, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
they
yes,
actually got so big on the top that they were
yeah.
lopsided.
And
And
that's why
because
I call floppage.
okay, yeah, and so my friend that I met on Instagram who also grows, he explained that to me, and so I did it this last grow, and I always, every time I trim my plants, I think about him, or defoliate them. Every time I
Defoliate.
think, "Oh, I'm thinking about him." And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think I agree. I truly believe that that was something that affected how big and that's why ended up getting a pound from 3
Yes,
plants.
yes.
The nugs were so big and so dense. It was crazy.
Yeah, so everybody out there, if you want bigger, fatter, denser nugs, take all the insignificant stuff that's down here, take it off because you don't even really want to be wasting your time trimming that kind of bud. Okay, I mean you can because it's good for edibles and your trim bag or whatever the fuck else. But if you want the big colas, the fucking floppage colas, which floppage to me isn't really a bad thing as long as you can hold them back up with a yo-yo hanger or trellis or whatever the fuck. Um, that's better because you're getting those colas, man. And the colas, they're denser, they smoke better, blah blah blah. They're just way better. Um,
Yep.
so so I was looking at your gym workouts. So
Oh
you're
yeah.
going hard on the gyms, huh?
Yep, I've well, I know it's still a degree, but I have 2 associate's degrees in exercise
Oh,
science, and then I have 2 certificates in personal training, and I'm getting my bachelor's. I'm starting that next week, not this Monday, next Monday. So, yeah, I've lost like 100 pounds almost. Um,
nice.
yeah, I work out all the time, at least 4, 5 days a week. I mean, I make my own workouts. I did have a coach for a while. It's just nice not to
Well, now that
make
you're
your
going
own
to school
stuff, but
for it, or like you have associate's degrees and everything, you know the workouts, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and that's why I did it. I just wanted to know because everybody knows losing weight's really hard, and when you go online, you
facts.
try to look up how to lose weight, you're gonna get 800 different things that to do. So, I just wanted to know that I was doing the right stuff, and turns out I was doing some of the right stuff, but I was definitely doing some of the wrong stuff too, and now I have the experience and the knowledge. I don't have to worry about it. If I ever have kids, I know how to teach them well. I also have like certified in nutrition and stuff. So yeah, the whole
Yeah, so
trifecta.
I started going to the gym again, well, not again, but for the first time, and I went and got a gym membership, and I've been going hard. I went a little
Okay.
bit too hard, and I fucking almost popped my hamstring. So
Oh,
like, and I guess it's normal when you go too hard to
yeah.
fuck up your hamstring. So I'm like, oh, okay, so because I was doing like all my squats, sit ups, and yeah, squats, and then I jump on one of those lay down bikes, the bike that you just go, and I do like 7 miles on that. Well, one day I was just going too hard. I was all pissed off, all fucking angry
Mm,
from having a shitty day. So I was just going hard, and I felt that. Bah! I was like, oh, okay,
yeah.
I'm done with that.
Do you stretch?
Now the stretchings,
I
okay,
mean,
they have a
that
stretch machine there, and I do stretch, but not the way that I should. I don't think
so
like
hamstring is the number one cause. Tight hamstrings is the number one cause of back pain in the world. Like that's it. Like a lot of people have lower back pain and they don't know it's because people don't stretch. We don't stretch. I mean, I work out every day. I don't stretch every day. I have a stretching. I try to. Let's be real. We're all human. We're not going to do it every day, but even just literally standing up and reaching over and touching towards your feet, do that 30
that's what I
seconds.
do. Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna help. Anything will help. Little tiny, tiny things are better than nothing. That's what's
Yes.
crazy. Literally 30 seconds is better than nothing. So, yeah, I mean, and injury, you just said it. I mean, it will help prevent that. It really will. And that's it. If we all want to work out, we do. If we get injured, we're not going to be able to. That's
Yeah.
going to be, yeah. So, I mean, it's important. It really is.
Yeah.
That
Because I
stuff
haven't
is
been to
serious.
I haven't been back to the gym in fucking a week, and I'm going insane. Like I want to go back to the gym, man. I had fun there. Like I really like. Oh, and I lost 170 pounds. So
Oh,
I
wow.
was
Yeah,
yeah
that's
I was three. At my heaviest I was 404 pounds, and I lost it all in
dang.
like I would say I think it was about a year and a half.
Okay,
Lost all
wow.
not even. It could have been even sooner. I every day I lost 5 pounds. It was fucking crazy.
That is
But it,
crazy.
my brother broke it down though, is because I was such an alcoholic and I would just drink beer all day, right? Beer, liquor, pop, so mixed drinks
Mhm,
and shit, and that there was some yeast that was in my or bacteria that was built up in my stomach that was wanting the yeast and the sugars and everything, and so it kept me bloated and all that shit. As
mhm.
soon as I quit drinking, because as soon as I quit drinking, all of it fell off, just
Yeah,
fell off, and I was just blown away on how fast, how much better I felt. Oh my
it's
god, man!
crazy.
The only thing I don't like is the leftover skin though, because I got that
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
leftover skin is just like ugh.
Yeah, I was really lucky with that, very lucky.
Good.
Yeah, I have a
That's
scar because I had, like, a surgery that went wrong. They cut my aortic artery and had to
oh
take me in and just they sliced me straight down, so I have a scar, but besides that, yeah, I mean, so it's kinda similar, I guess.
yeah, we're almost there. Well, that I mean, the only reason why I stopped drinking and shit because I was in a coma for
Oh,
3 weeks. Yeah, I was in a coma for three
wow.
weeks. I caught swine flu, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was stupid crazy. I was the
That's
only person around
nuts.
me. Everybody, I coughed in my wife's face. And all my kids were around. Nobody got it, just me.
Wow.
So that's how
That's
I know it was God.
crazy.
God stepped in and slapped my ass. I was like, "You fucking need to stop your shit." And so, I had the near death experience. I woke up, talked to God, all that, and then stopped doing meth. I stopped drinking. I completely changed my life around, and
Wow.
it's just
It was
been
meant
great.
to be, I
It was
guess.
meant to be, man. It really was. It was meant to be, and that's why like life is crazy.
Yeah.
Life is
Sure
fucking
is.
crazy.
I'm learning that more and more every day.
All right, yeah, and how lucky you are. You'll probably never have to deal with that. So I mean, what? I'm sorry, I don't know what I just wrote there. I'm 2A all day. Now I think the Second Amendment. So I'm hard
Oh,
about the Second
yes.
Amendment and guns. And I was looking through your
Yes.
thing, and I was like, damn, you got some nice guns there. Good
Oh,
job.
yeah. My AR is right behind me in that
Nice. I
closet
want to
where
get
it
an
stays.
AR or
Oh,
something. I
I've
haven't
got a
killed
gun
it.
right next to me. I have guns
Nice.
on I have guns everywhere. Yeah, I have, especially being like a woman, I guess it's a
Yeah.
little bit more weird to say,
Yeah.
but yeah, my AR is my go-to if anyone's I'm here alone a lot and I'm moving in with a woman and I mean, where I need protection. I grew
You
up in
do,
a
man.
rough
There's
neighborhood.
the
Yeah,
fucking shit that's going on in nowadays. Every woman, I think, should be strapped up. And
yeah.
you know, the way, like, I understand there's a lot of people who don't like guns because there's things that happen, accidents
Mhm.
happen, shit happens
Right.
like that. It's true, but one of the things that I truly believe is the reason why we haven't been invaded by any other countries or anything like that is because of how many guns are out here. There's no way that any country could ever try to come onto our land or onto our, onto this country without some serious repercussions happening. Because if every civilian is strapped, there's no way an army could fight that. Because in other places, armies, well, if an army invades, another army needs to attack, right? All the civilians run off and they just leave. And then the other army could come in, and that's what the fuck happens, right? But they can't do that if every fucking person has a gun and is
I
shooting
never
back at
thought about it like that, but that is true.
Yes,
I never thought
that's
about it like
that's
that.
what it is. I was sitting there and I'm like we can't take the guns away, even if we wanted to. If you did, these people, I'm telling you, would invade us. There's the only
Mhm.
reason why they can't invade us is because every fucking human being over here, like there's so many guns. It's incredible, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. But
There's no way even if they made guns illegal, everyone would still get them. I mean, just
yes,
like you can get illegal guns right now. People who
yes,
can't buy a gun from a gun store are gonna still get a gun if they want one, just
yes.
like they would if they were illegal. But
Hmm.
I'm trained with a weapon. I took a 3-day course to get my CCW. You don't need a CCW in Arizona. It's virtually worthless here, except for the fact that you can go to a gun shop and buy a gun and not have to do a background check.
Yeah.
I walked in, I bought my AR, and I walked out with it. I didn't have a 2-day hold. That's the
I do think
only
that some people
use.
need a fucking background check because there's some
No, that
fucking
so
people who should
I
not have that shit.
that's what I think should I'm all for anyone being able to own a gun, but I think you should have to do even just an hour of training.
A class
Like,
or something,
yeah,
right?
especially for women just to be comfortable, teach them how to use it so they know what cuz I meet women who literally will not pick up a gun. Like they say, "Oh, I don't touch guns." I'm like, "That's stupid to me." I mean, you can't pick up that gun and move it over there like that's too much, like
Yeah.
get some 1 hour 2 hours of training. You'll be more comfortable. You'll be able to just tell if it's loaded, it's not even loaded. Take out the magazine if that makes you more it's that press the little button,
Yeah,
take the
press the
magazine
button, and you
out.
always gotta check one in the chamber. You always gotta
Right,
check one in
right,
the chamber.
right, absolutely.
Now,
I
I got
I
my
check every day. I'm like, is
yes,
my gun loaded?
yes. I got my rights back. I had to
Oh, good.
file for it. I'm a felon, been gangbanger, all that shit. So I've been on the streets. I did it illegal, and now I was like, I'm gonna do it legal. Now I'm gonna go take the routes that I need to do to get this thing, just because I can. Because I was like, they for my whole life they told me I couldn't, right? Because I'm
Okay.
brown, and I not because I'm brown, but because I've done all this shit, and so I'm like, no, I'm gonna. do what I have to do to get it legally, and I did. I got my CPL, I got everything.
Nice.
I am legit. I can carry, but there's still the people who would see me with the gun if I had mine on and call the cops automatically.
Yeah.
Because they would think, oh, that guy has an illegal gun, or he shouldn't have a gun,
Right.
right? And so there's people out there like that would just kind of ruin it for other people. I don't even know
Yep.
where I was going with that, but
No, that is true though.
how was the health and wellness fitness or the fitness summit?
Oh, it's a lot of really healthy people doing really healthy stuff, and then
Nice.
after they go out and party and drink and get crazy. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
pretty
go,
much.
so you go be healthy and then go drink some poison to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Me, I'm against alcohol all the way. I
Okay.
fucking hate alcohol. It's the worst thing ever. Like
It
there's
is really honestly like pointless. It's crazy
it's
how
it's
and it's a waste
pointless
of
and
money. It's a scam. It is a
it's a
huge
scam.
alcohol is a
Did
scam.
you know that alcohol was derived from fuck, I really need to get this quote down so that I can tell everybody, but it was the name alcohol was derived over somebody letting the devil in. It
Okay.
means letting the demons in because and spirit. It's called spirits because it takes your spirit
Mhm.
away because it turns you into somebody fucking completely different, man.
So, I can tell you the anatomy behind that is
Ooh,
that alcohol is the only substance that crosses the blood-brain barrier. So, that's why it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do because it actually can cross through the blood-brain barrier and affect your brain and, like, certain parts of your brain, how you think, and that's why you do and that's why, you slur and you can't walk right or talk right and you do things that you wouldn't normally do because even I'm guilty of being someone who I would never do that if I was sober. I've had my
yeah,
experience. Yeah, and I mean, so I can honestly say that I truly feel that. So yeah, I learned that in anatomy class that alcohol crosses the blood-brain barrier, and that's why people act stupid, act a fool on it.
yeah, and it's a depressant.
Yeah.
Everybody like thinks, oh no, we're having fun. No, you're not really. Because I look at bars and clubs and places, and I see people. They want to have fun, and they think that that is social because it is a social thing to do now. Now we're all
Mhm.
trained to believe that it's normal to get drunk and it's normal to have a fucking problem and then get sober, which is like so stupid to me. Like I saw this clip where this guy was like, they were talking about how when you tell somebody, no, I don't drink anymore, somebody's like, well, why not? Why don't you drink anymore? Did you have a problem? Blah 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 blah. All these 100 questions, right? But if you say, oh, I don't drink water, then nobody says anything. They're just like, oh, okay,
Right. That's
right.
normal. Yeah,
And
it's like,
no, like to
"Oh,
me, I'm like, wait a
I
minute, that's
know."
not normal, dude.
Yes.
You are water, bro. You need that
I
shit.
know.
Hey, God, that's so fucking crazy. The way
It
I just
is.
can't stand alcohol. Oh my god. Anyways, one of these days we'll have it to where cannabis could be the thing that is not frowned
Mhm.
upon. That everybody's like, "Oh, you smoke bud? Okay," and not really worry about it
I
because
hope
it's just
so.
what
I
it
hope
is.
for that.
I think that's the way that we need to go. Um, I was looking. Also, we're almost up. We're almost done with our episode. I wanted to thank you again for coming on, but I wanted to get out a couple questions too. The Fossil Creek in Arizona, that looked beautiful. Oh my
Love
god,
that place.
is
Yeah,
that
so
like
I
close to you?
it's about 2 hours north of
Oh, okay,
Phoenix. It's,
okay.
there's 2 different waterfalls. One of them is only a mile from the trailhead, so it's easy to get to, families can go, but there's a big, huge, like 30-foot massive waterfall with a place that has turquoise caves, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, but it's a 4.5-mile hike each way. And it's usually very hot in the summer here.
Arizona.
Yeah, so doing that right now, you would I mean, they don't open until 8. They open the gates at 8, so I mean, it's almost insane to even
It's impossible.
try.
You wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do it.
I
You'd
I
have to leave
wouldn't.
at like 5 a.m., right?
Right, I would do just the shorter one at that point, but you do have to get a permit. It's one of those things where it sells out, like, they open it the 1st of the month, and you just have to go on and try and get the day you want, but, yeah, I mean, it's one of I used to go there in high school before they took permits and all that, so I've had a lot of fun there, a lot of good memories, but I've also seen a lot of people almost I've
Die,
seen a
right?
yeah, there it's pretty serious. I mean,
That's
there's
what I'm
cliff
saying. It's
jumping. Yeah,
oh shit. There's cliff
it's
jumping.
It's a good time though.
Good. So you're from the AZ, right? So do
Mhm.
you have did you ever listen to MB Writers back in the day?
No. Mm-mm.
No MB Writers. Oh my
Mm-mm.
god. So the MB Writers were they are a rap group that came out of Arizona, Phoenix. Um, they are Mexican American Chicano rappers that were the biggest thing in the Chicano in the Mexican American culture back then, man. Back in the I think it was 90, the 2000s, late 90s is when they
Okay.
came out. Probably before then. Anyways, I wanted to ask you about that because I've had one of the members on CannaConvos.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah,
Yeah.
that I was born in 90, so that might have
Okay.
been just, like, a little bit before I
Right when you
was
were they were coming out is when you were uh
starting to listen to
started.
rap
Yeah.
probably,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So you're gonna need to go back and check them out, man.
Okay,
It's good old. Just it's not too much cussing and crazy shit. They're more love songs, and they do like they're just overall good peeps, man. You should check them
okay, cool,
out.
yeah,
I really
sounds
like
good.
them. Cool. Well, we are at our hour mark, and we're almost done. I wanted to ask you one last question. Do you have any tips for the new growers that you wanted to pass on?
My tip is ask questions. Like
All right.
reach out. I mean, people who grow love to talk about growing. That's what they want to they want to give you advice and don't a lot of times I think new growers will take things like personally and they'll be like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." It's like just listen to everything that people tell you and you don't have to do what they say, but it's better to know all these different options because if what you're doing isn't going to work or is doesn't end up working, maybe you do want to try what you thought didn't work. Because I had a friend who his problem was that he wasn't using like reverse osmosis water. He was just using tap water.
Yeah.
And I would tell him like no, the ppms in the tap water in Arizona are not right. And he was like, oh no, the pH, I use pH up. And I'm like, that's not the same thing. But
Yeah.
he like wouldn't listen to me. He thought he knew everything. And so I just let it go. And he would grow his nugs like literally didn't exist. It was like a complete waste of yeah. So just listen to what people say. Whether or not you end up using their advice, hear them out and ask questions. You can there's so much to know.
Yeah.
So much.
There's so much information out there, guys. You guys like, and like she said, us growers, we love to talk about this. So that's what this whole podcast is about. It's about motherfucking talking about cannabis. So
Yep.
100% right there. Is there any sponsors or anybody you wanted to shout out or anything like that?
I don't nope, I just all me. Yeah,
All
I've
right.
never had a sponsor, probably never will. I don't know. After my episode of Kill Tony airs, which it's supposed to air next Monday,
Okay.
I don't have my name on social media, so I think I'm gonna have to put it on there because my name's gonna be on the podcast, my full name. So
Oh
we'll
shit. Be
see.
ready.
We'll see if people reach out to me. They might not, but they might. So you never
They
know.
might look you up and fucking want to know, hey, what's up with that chick? And then they're gonna see your grows and they'll be like, yo, she's hella cool.
Maybe.
And she'll see this, and hopefully they see this show and they'll get to know you better, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, cool. As for me, everybody go check out High Photon Flux LEDs. You already know Defiant Seed, OG Spirit Percent, everybody out there, PSGX. Make sure to go check out his genetics. That's what I grew last. Did you see my post by any chance, Jfro?
Yeah.
Oh man, that bud was fucking
Yeah, looks
dank, man.
amazing. Yeah.
That was the runs. There was another one that was a purple peel box by PSGX, and that shit was just fire. And I'm so fucking mad at
Nice.
myself that I didn't clone it. Oh,
Ah,
but it's all
hate that.
right. We'll move on to the next thing. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show. You've been great. You killed it today. So I hope to have you on another time down in the future, probably if you're
Cool.
ever ready to. You'll probably have a bunch of grows under your belt by then, a blue
Yeah.
mass system and all that.
Yeah, I'm excited to look into that. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun, and I actually learned a lot. That's what I love about the community. It's just learning
Good.
all the time. So
Good. Hell yeah. That's what we're here for is to spread the knowledge and, get new growers to come and check us out so that they can get little tips and shit like that too. And just know to the new growers out there, just know it is your grow. You could do whatever you want with this. All right. If you don't want to use ROS, don't do it. You want small buds, that's your fucking prerogative. You can do whatever you want. That's my tip to everybody. But once again, thank you, Jfro, for coming on, and we will
thank
catch you
you.
next time. Lates.
Bye.